Hi everyone, this is Susan Nance. This is our third Teach Us series, and today I'll be covering anchor charts. In our lives, anchor charts are all around us. We have utilized these things not particularly just in the classroom, but in our homes. We have artwork, we have pictures up, we have statues, we have all visible, tangible objects that we have reference to, and these references either go back from where we've come from, where we are presently, and give us direction of where we're going. They either give us reference or give us direction. And the same is with anchor charts. Prime example is this picture of this home that is here. It's an old fishing shack that has been in the area forever. This is my first home when I lived my first time through college, way back when. And you'll notice that the house is sitting crooked. Well, it's not the camera, it actually is the house. But it is a reference point. It sits in my office to remind me where I have come from, where I am now, and the direction I go to in the future. So, everyone has these types of things in their house, whether it be your child's old stuffed animal picture or anything else like that. And again, we use this same concept as anchor charts in our school. It's a visible, accessible tool, places focus on the subject, and provides reference. And for a classroom setting, it actually starts to engage students, make them a part of the process. There's a variety of anchor charts that we use. The first kind that I like, because to me it's more mobile and it's able to assess a larger population of students. The students that I have seen, especially in the older high school ages, they all have smartphones. They all have either iPads. They may not have a home computer, but they all carry either a smartphone or an iPhone or something like that. An anchor chart that you can utilize in a classroom could be a smartphone interactive device. There's a platform that you can share with smartphones, iPads, whatnot, that all students become engaged in the process of making this. It's easily edited by individuals. Each individuals that would normally not be engaged in a classroom setting will be and can be in this, because they have the they don't have to stand up in front of anybody. They don't have to present in front of anybody. They can be creative in their own right, and it may actually be their strong suit, and it may come out with this. It shares across everyone, so it's a shared file, much like Google Documents or the Google Slides that we have been using. It's edited. Everybody has a base product, and then once it's created, the final product can be shared, to which everybody can still make their little notes on, and it can actually be referenced outside of the classroom. So the old white paper and markers that have been so useful in the past and still are, they have definitely have their place in the classroom, will be hopefully or most likely be replaced in the future with some of these electronic devices, the pads and smartphones and whatnot, since they are less expensive, more interactive, and just a lot more accessible than they used to be. I think you'll see a transition towards that. The second kind we have is the traditional one that you do see in a classroom. When I was looking it up, you see a lot of these. It's an informative, it's a reference type. It gives a clear direction for the classroom. It has the visual with the thing, it sees the roller coaster here. So it has the thing that it ties in with maybe a teenager likes, or it can relate to in a high school setting or a child setting. The downside of this, despite that is well done, and despite the colors and everything else, the downside that I see is the little engagement or the involvement of the students. With the lower engagement or involvement, I found that students, they tune out. The recall is on a different area than it would be if they actually became part of the process. So this definitely fills a lot of classroom walls. The effectiveness, not so much as being an interactive chart. This is a chart I actually found online. It's in a UK classroom that the students, it's interactive, student engaged, student involvement, full engagement, and it's versatile. it's a simple concept of what stuck with you. So it's versatile across platform, versatile because students can use different things other than post-its. It is used across subjects. It's across just across the whole board. If they're teaching science on that area, and students actually be able to choose their own post-it notes, their post-it colors, they matter. People say a lot with the colors they choose. They say a lot with the words they use on those. So individuals have participation in it. They get to be involved with the whole process of making it and add it the way they want to do it. And being involved with that process makes them feel a part of it. Makes them feel that they matter and actually be able to retain a lot more, because the memories of involvement in something other than a lecture that is much greater. So I really like this concept, actually. The only thing I don't like about it, and I just have to be honest from my standpoint, is that post-its are darn expensive. Other than that, I think it's a great concept. Maybe, and if it were me, and maybe in a classroom, maybe whiteboards would work better. The initial cost of maybe a whiteboard would be a little inhibiting, or maybe not if you see the return of that. You're not wasting paper. You're not wasting all the whiteboard and the markers. You erase it, start with the subject matter, and do it again. Or maybe, I don't know. There's different concepts, but I really like this concept for engagement. But the post-it notes is what got me. Just as wrapping things up, anchor charts, again, they engage the thought process because it's an individual thought process as well as a collective thought process of the classroom, because they all become engaged. It brings them back to the point of the subject, the main subject matter that they're covering. And that's what the anchor chart does. It anchors into that main subject matter, and then it branches out. It increases the interest with engagement, which increases the comprehension. It increases the retention. It just increases the overall experience all around, and it moves the idea forward. Not only do they start with the idea, the anchor idea that you started with the chart, it actually pushes the idea of what could be, what's next. And engaging students, like I said, the engagement of the students themselves is an important process as they engage with the process of learning, and they engage in the process of communication within themselves and with the teacher. It's just important for them to become part of that process and move the ideas forward as a team and as individuals. And I think with that, you will be able to gain the most productive and successful teaching. So again, I thank you. I hope you enjoyed the slide presentation, and I will see you next time.